the columns on the left hand side of the arrow, you know the columns on the right hand side of the arrow. That is the called as this functional dependency. But before identifying this functional dependency, first of all, we'll start with a sample relation. Okay, then we'll identify the functional dependencies. Then slowly we'll go with how to decompose this particular table in order to satisfy first normal form, second normal form, third normal form. What is the first normal form is saying before splitting, going to the table? Every column must be atomic, no composite columns or no multi-valued columns. Okay, right. Now we'll come with the sample relation class. Even we can say our class itself. Okay, what are the columns we can identify in this particular class is the class may contain, the class may represent with course ID. What is the course ID of our class? Our department 05. Title. Okay. Our department title is the course. Our course title is Computer Science and Engineering. Okay. What is the department? Once again, Computer Science and Engineering. By saying the same information with the two different columns. Our department may contain some more courses also, like CSC Data Science, CSC Cybersecurity, CSC AI&ML, CSC IoT. Okay, those are also other courses of our same department. Okay, so course ID, title, department name, number of credits for this particular course. Say your number of credits for your course is 160. Then when you are representing your class, but our CSC second year are divided into 4 sections. So if you want to represent your class, we need to represent your section also. So section ID, then comes to the semester, year, in which building you are having your class is. Okay, our class is in our CSC block. That is the meaning of building name. In the CSC block, room number. Okay, our room number can be 105 or any other number, or 107 or 108, whatever it may be, or even the 205. What is the capacity of our class? 60. Time slot ID. In which time slot? Say for example, if our class is free, the classroom can be allocated to for some other section also on different time slots. Okay, this is the information we are going to maintain. Now we need to identify, is there any functional dependencies in this particular class? What is the functional dependencies we can identify? There is an association between course ID, title, department and credits. If somebody says course ID, somebody says the course ID, we can say what is our course ID? 05. If you say somebody the course ID 05, immediately somebody can tell what is the title of course, what is the department name, how many credits are attached with the course ID. Okay, those are related. Okay, right. But when come to the section ID, is not related to the course. Section ID is the sum of the students who taken that particular course. Section ID is not related to course ID directly. Similarly, semester year also, because the course ID is representing all semesters, all years. So it is not restricted to a specific semester or year. It is also not related to the course ID. Similarly, the course can be run in any building. We can't restrict to a single building. Similarly, it is not restricted to single room number, single capacity or time slots. So all others are not related to the course ID, but title, department name, credits are related to course ID. That is the reason we created a one functional dependency. Course ID derives title, department name, credits. Okay. Similarly, when come to the other remaining fields or remaining columns in the same class, you can identify one more functional dependency. If you give the building name and room number, because the same room number is in the CSC block, say 101. 101 room number is there in the CSC block. 101 room number is there in the mechanical block. 101 room number is there in the EEE ECE block also. So the room number is not sufficient. If you give the building and room number, that you can uniquely identify your room or classroom. So if you give the building and room number, then you can say what is the capacity of the room. Whether it can be a 60 students can sit, or 30 students can sit, because even our in block we are having classrooms, tutorial rooms also. Tutorial rooms are worth of only sitting 30 students, whereas classroom we can sit 60. Okay, right. So if you want to know the capacity of a particular classroom, you need to know building and room number. So with the building and room number, if you know, that is the reason. Now look, on the left hand side of the arrow, you are getting, on the left hand side of the arrow, you are getting more than one column also. Okay, that is the result. When you are saying the functional dependency as alpha derives beta, alpha derives beta, alpha, we are saying alpha is set of columns, beta is nothing but set of columns, right? So if you know building and room number, then we can know capacity. So with that particular thing, we are identifying one more functional dependency, second functional dependency. Now, when come to the remaining, say for example, course ID, section ID, semester, year, then you can uniquely identify a particular class. Then we can say where the particular class is allocated, where the particular class is allocated. If you give course ID, CSC 05, maybe section ID, it may be A, B, C, D, okay, and semester and year is maybe second year, second semester. If you give that information, then we can say where that class is. The class may be in a specific building. It may not be a single building, okay. If you give this information, we can identify a building. In that particular building, the specific room number and a specific time slot, okay. So if you give this information, you can get the other information, okay. So with it, what you are identifying is the given fields are divided into small subgroups. Based on the subgroups, we are identifying the functional dependency. One subgroup is with course ID, title, department name, grades. Another subgroup is building, room number and capacity. Another subgroup is course ID, section ID, semester, year. Okay, building, room number and time slot ID. Okay. Look here, we may have couple of columns, may be common in set of functional dependencies also, no problem. Clear? But basically it is divided into three parts, okay, or in that particular fields, each and every field must be part of some functional dependency. Be careful. So based on the particular thing, we are identified some dependencies, right? Okay. So this is the functional dependencies based on the above table class, okay, or relation class. And also now we'll identify what could be a candidate key for the particular class table. The candidate key, so that to uniquely identify each and everything here, is course ID, semester and year. Course ID, section ID, semester and year. We can identify a key for the table. Okay. So we identified what could be a probable candidate key. That candidate key can be a primary key letter or super key also. Clear? And we identified a set of functional dependencies. and a particular table. Now we need to say whether the particular table is in the first normal form or not. Okay, is it in the first normal form? Each and every column is atomic, no doubt. So as each and every column is in atomic, then we can say the table class or the relation class is in the first normal form. If you identify any column can be divided further, when you can divide a column further, if it is a composite attribute or if it is a multi-valued attribute. Be careful, the multi-valued attributes and composite attributes need to be divided further. Fortunately, in the above class table, we are not having any composite attributes or multi-valued attributes. So the given table is in the first normal form. Okay, remaining. If you are identifying course ID, section ID, semester and year, course ID, section ID, semester and year as key, you can say all other values are depending on key attributes only. Even you can say the given table is in the, it need not be super key. It can be a key attribute or non-key attribute. Course ID, section ID, semester, year is a key. Then you can say all other non-key attributes are depending on these attributes. Even you can declare the given table may be in the second normal form also. Then one come to the BCNF. What is the BCNF you required? The key must be a super key. The key must be a super key. Otherwise, it is not going to be acceptable in the BCNF. Okay. Now we need to check the conditions required for BCNF. Right. So when come to the table, okay, the functional dependency, we will take the first functional dependency, course ID. If you know the course ID, you say we are getting the title, department name, credits. Okay, but course ID can be declared as in the class table as super key or not. But course ID cannot be declared as a super key here because we are having non attributes related to the course ID. Okay, say for example building room number, capacity, time slots, these are not related to the course ID. If you are repeating the particular building, the course ID may be repeated also. Okay, or for the section ID or semester, year, all these are in the same, related to the same course. For second year, for A section, once again the same course ID occurs. For B section, same course ID occurs. For C section, same course ID occurs. For D section, same course ID occurs. So in this particular, if you are having all fields together in a single table, you can't identify course ID as super key. You can't identify course ID as super key because you are having the different sections for each and every section for each and every year. Course ID is also part. Okay. So the class in the class table as course ID is can't identify as super key. You can't. The above class is not in the BCNF. You can declare the above table class is not in BCNF. Then what to do? We can divide this given table into 2 or more number of tables so that each and every table satisfies BCNF rules. What is the BCNF rules? Either functional dependencies must be trivial functional dependency. What is the meaning of trivial functional dependency? Right side ఉన్న columns left side కూడా ఉన్నాయా ఉంటే trivial functional dependency. But ఈ functional dependency లో left side ఉన్నవి right side ఉన్నవి left side లేదు. Left side is different, right side is different. So it is non-trivial functional dependency. So it is non-trivial functional dependency. But okay, we are having this other rule also. What is other rule? Course ID can be Be careful here that whatever the left hand side or right hand side, that it may be looking like a two words. For readability, I left is a not underscore is not used, but consider it as a single word only. Course underscore ID. Okay. For readability, I didn't made any underscore. Right. So what is the second? At least course ID must be super key. But in the previous conditions, with all the column values, I can't make course ID as super key. What is the possibility then? Then divide the table into two or more number of tables so that you can make course ID as super key. So I chosen course ID, title, department name, credits in one table, all the remaining attributes in the other table. Okay, so divided. For the first table, I given the name as course. Second table, I given the class one, because class is already for the complete table. Class one is the sub table, right? When come to the these non-trivial functional dependencies, okay, the course ID is on the left hand side in the previous one. Now this functional dependencies completely hold on the first part of the table. On the first part of the table, now the course ID can be declared as the super key because there is no other values which forces course ID to be duplicate. There is exactly one course ID, exactly one title, and its department name and credits. Okay. So now here the course ID can be made super key for the course table. Previously, the section name, year name, okay, all those are also occur. Those are repeating for the course ID number of times. But here course ID means only one course ID. Title, department name, credits. The course ID can be made as a super key. When the course ID is satisfying the super key, now this functional dependency is true. This functional dependency is true with course ID as super key. Course ID as super key. So the first relation, the relation course is in BCNF. The relation course is in BCNF. The relation course is BCNF. The only thing is now we need to check the remaining part of the class. The remaining part of the class where we are calling it as a class 1. Where we are calling it as a class 1. Okay, right. When come to the class 1, you can identify a candidate key for this particular thing because we are having the functional dependencies. Also, we identify course ID, section ID, semester, and year. With it, we are identifying building room number, time slot also. If you know the left hand side, but only thing is you can make it as a super key or not. That is the thing. But when you are including this course class 1 along with the course ID, section ID, semester, year, the same course ID, the section IDs we are having, we can have the buildings and room number, capacity. Okay, can be once again, it can be anywhere, it can be duplicated. The building is not depending on the course ID. Okay, right. The course ID with the building, room number, and time slot. If you know, if you use this one, we can identify. But only thing is we can't say the capacity. We can't say the capacity. If you know the course ID, section ID, semester, and year, you can specify in which building that class is there. What is the room number? What is the time slot? But capacity is not depending on the course ID. Capacity is not depending on the course ID, section ID, semester, and year. If you give the course ID, section ID, semester, and year, you can't give the capacity. The capacity is depending on the room number. If you give this information, then you can give the other information. If you know other information, then you can give the capacity. But not directly, capacity is not depending on course ID, section ID, those things. Clear? But in the class 1, it is also part. Capacity is also part of this particular table. Okay. Hence, it is not in the BCNF. What to do? We need to divide, we need to separate this capacity separately into other table. We need to separate this capacity into other table. Otherwise, it is becoming a trans-2 dependency. If you know course ID, section ID, semester, year, you know the building and room number. When you know the building and room number, then you can know the capacity. What is the one more rule? It should not contain transitive dependency. It should not contain transitive dependencies. Okay. So the candidate key for the as you are identified the candidate key for the class 1 is the course ID, section ID, semester, year. The functional dependencies need to be divided into 2 more tables. The first table can be building and room number, capacity. Okay. Right. So in the class 1 directly, building and room number is not a super key. But when you declare it as a classroom, building, room number, capacity as its fields, building and room number we can declare as super key. What are the other fields? Course ID, section ID, semester, year, building, room number, time slot. Here you can make course ID, section ID, semester, year as super key. As per our functional dependencies also, you can identify the section is also in BCNF. Okay, so it is this section and the classroom having the super keys only after divided the class 1 into 2 tables. Otherwise, you are having a trans-2 functional dependency because of the trans-2 functional dependencies, and you can't identify certain fields as super key. Okay, so after dividing into these 2, that now classroom sections are becoming in the BCNF. This is the way till the given table is turned into a number of subtables, and each and every subtable either having the trivial functional dependencies or having the super key on the left hand side, or alpha is a super key. We need to divide these particular tables. Then finally we can say whether that final tables are in the BCNF or not. Even after division also, if you can't identify, okay, sufficient columns to be declared as a super key, you can say the given table is not in the BCNF or third normal form. Okay, to make this particular thing in the third normal form, there is a relaxation. The alpha need not be a super key, but it can be a candidate key. Okay, right. So when come to the, I will cover one more small case study. Okay, how to identify the functional dependencies, or with the available functional dependencies, how to compute F closure. We are having set of functional dependencies F. Let our relation is A, B, having columns A, B, C, G, H, I. Okay, on this particular columns, we are having a set of functional dependencies F as A derives B, B derives C, and that means if you know A, you know B. If you know A, you know C. If you know the combination of C and G, you know H. If you know the combination of C and G, you know I. If you know B, you know H. This is called a set of functional dependencies F. Now we need to identify F closure. If you can create any additional rules, or you can delete something. First of all, here I am explaining you how to create additional rules. Say for example, from this you can create A derives H also. How you can create A derives H? Because you are having the functional dependencies A derives B and B derives H in the above set of functional dependencies. From this trans-2 functional dependencies, you can create additional rule A derives H also. Similarly, you can create CC derives HI also with the union rule, because you are having two rules, CG derives H, CG derives I, with the union rule, because when both left hand sides are common, you can add both right hand sides. So if you are adding the right hand side, automatically it becomes H and I, HI. CG derives HI also, you can say. Similarly, we are having one more rule. We can create one more rule. AG derives I, because you are having A derives C, then CG derives I. If you know A, automatically you know C. So automatically C can be replaced by A. If you replace C with A, automatically it becomes AG derives I. Okay, when you know AG derives I, if you know A, you can know C. So A can be replaced by C. So automatically AG becomes CC. That is the rule already here. That is the reason you can create AG derives I also. Okay, we call it as a pseudo transitivity because the transitivity is not complete, but transitivity is a part of the rules. We call it as a pseudo transitivity rule. Even we can create another way of finding AG derives I also in the above functional dependencies. We can use augmentation rule. A derives C. Okay, from the A derives C, you can if you can add G, automatically it becomes augmentation rule. The same thing, same value can be added both left hand side and right hand side. AC becomes AG and CG. AC becomes AG, CG. But we know CG means I. We know CC. If you know CC, you know I. So the CC can be replaced by I. So in the AG derives CG, as we know CG means I, we can replace CG with I. Automatically you are getting AG derives I. Okay. So this is the way we can create functional dependencies. We can create a functional. We can create F clauses. Similarly, sometimes you can delete some values also. So for example, we are having the functional dependencies, the case study briefly I will cover. We are having a set of functional dependencies, A derives B, C, B derives C, A derives B, B derives C. These are the functional dependencies given. Okay. So, but when come to this particular thing, there are two functional dependencies with the same set of attributes on the left hand side. You are having A derives BC, A derives B. Why unnecessarily? We can combine these two functional dependencies. One functional dependency is sufficient. A derives B in the above rule is already there. So we can eliminate by combining by union rule. A and A only. BC plus B is BC only. We can eliminate A derives B. Okay. So A is extraneous in the AB derives C. Okay, additional rule because F logically implies okay AB derives C and union B derives C. So here the thing is B derives C is already in our set of functional dependencies. Okay, so that we can remove this particular thing. From this particular A derives BC, you can identify the B derives. It is also part of the B derives C, that B derives C can be eliminated. Okay. Similarly, C is also extraneous in A derives BC, A derives B. So A derives B can be logically created using A derives B and B derives C also. So we can eliminate that particular rule. That means some rules may be we can derive from other rules. Some rules can be derived from the other rules. If you are eliminated those rules, automatically given set of the rules is reduced. What you are identifying from the given set of rules, if some rules are already available with other rules also, okay, we can eliminate. This B derives C, AB derives C can be combined. A derives BC, A derives B can be combined. If you are identifying, that means you can hold one rule, you can remove one other rule. If you are removing the other rule, automatically the given canonical cover is reduced to A derives B and B derives C. Okay. Additional rules is different, duplicate rules are different. Okay, right. With it, I'm concluding. Give your attendance. If you are having any doubts, you can give me. In the next class, we'll cover other type of functional dependencies so that we can conclude that particular class also.